Hi, this is Mark Lucas again. She hasn't started yet. I've been taking trim and bumpers and whatnots off of her. Somebody decided to buy a master cylinder without the original style of threaded hole on the bottom side for the hydraulic brake light switch, and they decided to install a micro switch which looks like it's from a pinball machine into the column support frame, and they have fixed the micro switch into that spot with duct tape alone. So the other night I ended up peeling 25-year-old duct tape off of the makeshift brake light switch. Also, when I got under the dash, I found out that they didn't run a separate wire to put in an under the dash radio, an aftermarket radio in the car. They yanked the hot lead off of the cigarette lighter and chopped it off, and I think it might actually be too short to hook back up with a terminal in. That kind of frustrates me. But I yanked my my antenna out. I've got to fix a hole in the firewall that they used a punch and a hammer to put through, to put the antenna lead through. I've also got to obviously fix the hole in the passenger side fender because they installed an antenna on the car that wasn't originally supposed to be there. So my grill V was probably torn off by somebody that either didn't know what they were doing or just really didn't care about these cars and wanted that to sell to try and, I don't know, make some crack money. So I've got the remnants of the bracket for the thing with the studs on it. Looks like somebody tried to tow the vehicle with the V emblem. Anyway. She is now unlocked and cranking freely. New points, new wires. The old spark plugs I pulled out, I didn't really see any reason to replace them because they didn't have any rust on them. They didn't have any rust. There wasn't an excessive amount of carbon. What it actually looked like, it's got a relatively decent distributor cap. It actually looks like somebody gave it a tune-up and then parked it. The carburetors are one of the Carter replacements, and I don't know. It's really weird. Got lots and lots of spark. I had just replaced or repaired one of my generator wires that had been, I guess, chewed off by rats or squirrels or something. I'm a little eccentric with the connectors, electrical connectors and sorts. I try and pick up wire that's like exactly the same thing as what's in the car right now, and I take the old connectors and unsolder them if they're soldered, and mechanically remove them using pliers as gently as possible, and then reinstall them on the new wires, which is a little much, I know, but I don't know, I feel like doing it. For anyone who hasn't done one of these before, they are the easiest bumpers in the entire world to remove from a car. Chrysler was really thinking ahead when they designed these. there are plates that go inside of your frame termination, and that allows you to remove the bolts without a second wrench. It's absolutely amazing. I sat on the ground the other night with a Miller High Life and took the bumpers off with a combination wrench. That happens to be my favorite beer. The rear valance panels really aren't all that bad. It might have something to do with the fact that they were cleaned and repainted at some point, but my left side has absolutely no rusted spots in it. Rusted through spots. The right one's kind of rough. But, you know, sheet metal can replace that. So, at least it's not in any of the really critical areas with any of the complex shapes. My bumpers, I don't know. My rear, in my opinion, I don't know, has black paint on the inside of it. I don't know if that's from the factory. Cars I've seen before have a kind of a coat of light chrome on the inside, and the front does. The front has a coat of light chrome, so I'm guessing they did this to the car whenever they had started painting it. Put it on the front and go right back on the car as far as I'm concerned. I don't know about the reverse light panel. I don't know why everything looks like it's coated with grease. It doesn't make much sense unless the differential is leaking terribly. And I don't know if I even want to mess with the panel. The front one is bent to hell. I don't know what they did, but they at the same time as pushing it in, they've managed to yank one of the bumper bolts backwards through the bumper. Which is horrible. I have to cut all these off of here. The bumper bracket also managed to shear a hole, or a slot, right through the front. Boy. Looks really bad when you turn it upside down. I was actually thinking about beating on it with a hammer and then having it re-chromed, but because I like originality, might not even be worth it. I don't have any rust in my firewall at all whatsoever, and I think the reason for that is because my piece of weather strip from the hood to cowl was actually intact and fell off whenever I opened the hood for the first time when I got back from my trip. Of course, I ended up going on a trip to Wisconsin to visit the in-laws, and the car arrived at my machine shop while I was gone, so I didn't get any videotaping of the descent from the truck.